Well, this week's study in Acts, the 13th and 14th chapter, we decided to do it a little bit differently than we have been doing so far, and all of us gathering together just to talk for a few moments about some of the things that we have seen in these chapters. So we invite you to just listen in on some of the insights maybe that we've found, and share with us some things maybe as you're reading this week. We would love to hear what you're seeing also in these scriptures. One of the things that I found that really fascinated me was the relational aspect that you find really throughout the book of Acts, but you see it really start playing out here in chapter 13. You know, the church is now being spreading out farther, and they're now the home base, if you will, moving from Jerusalem to Antioch. And instead of it being just one guy doing the show or a couple of guys deciding what to do, these church people are together praying and seeking God. So I want us to take a couple minutes to talk about that relational aspect of Christianity.
You know, for me, when praying and seeking and hearing from God and the Holy Spirit, it's so helpful to have a group, to do it with one other person or a group of people, to talk through what I'm hearing, to hear them confirm that, yeah, you're on the right track, or no. Just that relational, that group aspect is so important when praying and seeking God.
Well, the camaraderie, that Paul and Barnabas had. And it spread throughout the congregation. It wasn't just those two people, it spread. Camaraderie is contagious. And as they began to work together, as God led them, great things happened. Yeah.
And I think it disciplines you more if I'm doing something and trying to dig deeper and understand, to just have somebody to bounce things off of and keep me somewhat on track, because I tend not to be sometimes.
Well,
Yes, we all do.
And those people change too.
Right.
You're not with the same group all the time. I can think of college and the ministry and the programs that we did in college with certain people. And now today we've all gone. We have different ministries. They're in different places. They're in Chicago. They're in South Carolina. I'm still here in Cincinnati. But you get groups somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're reassigned in groups. So, you're not on your own. You're in Cincinnati, but now you're surrounded by a new group of people connected
Absolutely.
with, new believers and other believers.
I think it's one of the great aspects of Christianity that we underplay, the relational aspect, that we're here to work together, to strengthen each other, and to do mission together. And speaking of mission, the other thing that I thought we'd take just a moment to talk about was, I noticed how strategic Barnabas and Paul would be as they would go from town to town. They picked out the large cities that they would go to. I would imagine that was so that they could be of most influence, reach the most people. They would go then first to the synagogue when it would be the Sabbath. They would begin to talk to the Jews and to the God-fearing Gentiles that were there. And then often that would come with mixed reviews, and then they would go and they would begin to talk to those who were Gentiles, just outside of the Jewish faith altogether. And it made me think of how that we at Legacy try to do some things strategically too. Any thoughts about that?
I immediately think of Upward. We don't have Upward just because it's a program for K through 4th grade to play a sport, where city schools might not have that. It's a chance for us to meet a community elsewhere. It's us to use those moments, to use devotions during halftime, to build relationships during the season with coaches, with parents, with all of these people, and give them an opportunity to know about Legacy, to know about Community Baptist, but to engage with them relationally.
Good.
And I think life groups do that too. To have that confidence with people that you can say and speak and learn all together, and they hold you accountable. And that's a real important part of studying, to be in a relational setting, that people are going to support you and let you know if you're doing it right or wrong.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
And a word that keeps coming up in this chapter 3 or 4 times is the word, they encouraged one another. We all need that.
Yeah.
It's natural to get down sometimes.
Right.
And we need that person to lift us up, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so much better to have a friend, someone that you can confide in, and yet someone to say, hey, come on, let's get it back in gear again, you know,
Right.
and help you along the way. We need
Right.
that.
Yes. And for me, mine is WizKids comes to mind right away. I think of tutoring. We tutor these kids and we help them with school, which is wonderful. And there's lots of tutoring programs out there. But each week we have a Bible lesson. We give these children Bibles. We help the tutors understand how to share Christ with these kids. So it's very intentional, very strategic in how we tutor and how we do WizKids.
Well, and even grief share, you know, it's
Yeah.
a smaller part of our congregation, and yet God is our strength. You know, He's our ever-present help, and that is driven home over and over again. You know, and we share, we help. This encouragement to one another is very important.
Very true. So strategery, as was it George Bush? One of the Bush guys said it years ago. But having a strategy, you know, when we do church, it's more than just to do church, but it's with intent. It's with an intent to help us as believers grow, but it's also with an intent to spread the good news as the book of Acts people were doing. So as we're reading these verses, I hope that you are coming alive and excited about how the Holy Spirit, time and time and time again, is empowering people to do ministry. We can't do it on our own, and we together can do something powerful with the gospel as a church. So let's be together. Let's work together. Let's see what God's going to do. What if we would just take this a little bit more seriously? What would really happen in our lives? See you next week.